What's happening? Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would share some journal entries from back when I very first got clean. Writing was very cathartic for me, and this will give you a glimpse just into the mindset of just how sick my mentality was in very early recovery. So with that, let's get started. Okay, this journal entry is about living and being in a relationship with somebody who's also a full-blown drug addict. A few tried to warn me, the few who cared the most about protecting me. They said when you get released, you're going straight past me to them. To get that next dose, they're holding palm wide open because that is all you know. It's what you love the most. I just couldn't hear it as a warning. Just figured they weren't down for you, so it went in one ear and out the next. But man, they may as well have had a glass ball that saw right past all the BS because they predicted the future like it wasn't even a test. No other options to choose for a question mark like you. Nah, he wouldn't do me dirty like that. He took my charges without a second thought. He chose to sit in a cell and rot. He loves me. How could he not? Well, I know this. That dope is magical. It transformed you right before me. I didn't blink or leave the room. Abracadabra, you're an eyesore, a mindfuck. I can't even watch you shoot up without tearing up. Keep in mind, I'm high as fuck. That's just how hurtful it was. I'm watching us define the saying, misery loves company. If that's not bad enough, now you're all numb and want to tear me down. Just because, so I sit here and take every punch, not supposed to feel a fucking thing, yet here I am internalizing everything. I go deeper into my thoughts, start to tear myself apart and figure out, where did I go wrong? How did this situation get so far gone? Just a page I was stuck on, and every night I would think, how can I flip past this? If I stay, maybe the next hit will be the death of me. I would pray for God to take me to my final destiny. I would fantasize about that ultimate high, the one I couldn't buy, never seemed to get enough to take me to the point where I could get total relief from all the pain I carry inside, and it claws at me. I carry it around like a shadow I can't shake, and I knew in my heart I wasn't going up in the clouds with angels looking down, but I was going down south to match the life that I lived out loud. But for you, I'll have a special place mapped out, black velvet ropes, your name spelled out. A special place in hell reserved specially for you. You earned the VIP. Funny thing, when I finally threw my hands up and walked out of those four walls that caged us up, you had the audacity to say I turned on you and I was a sellout. No, you don't even make sense anymore. How can I sell out if I leave, start over with nothing, and rebuild from day one? Message after message from you about how I lied and I'm still in town, just want nothing to do with you. Well, here's a clue for you. You got the second part true. I left town right away, but I want nothing to do with you. But fuck me and my feelings because I keep these pics of you when you were clean and they haunt me. I remember about the person I knew, the person you used to be. And he was everything to me. When I didn't have a family or a place in the street, you were the only one who was there for me. And here I am walking away from you cheerfully. Because all those hits you took, well, they tore straight through me, paralyzed me with pain that sliced right into my arteries, and I would lay on the bed bleeding as you laughed at me. I'm thinking, this cannot be real. How can you go from being one of the realest people I know to this shell of a human being that's out for blood with every dose? I would have all these tears welling up inside, but couldn't show my weak side. Even if a tear slipped out, you couldn't see it from my side. I was nothing more than fresh meat, just material for you to feed off of. Lash out at me, we can flip the coin right back to me and see I carry the same beast inside. The whole time you were inside, I was getting high. But I didn't transfer my anger to you. I took it outside every night, used it to create a target on my next mark. See, I was out for blood too. The only difference is I never aimed the gun at you. So that was an example of Just all those feelings I had to process through when I came clean, and everything felt overwhelming. I had so much happening in my mind. I was getting out of a relationship that, now looking back on it, when I talk about hits in the writing, I'm not talking about physical punches. I mean, sometimes we kind of wrestle each other, whatever, out of anger, but it wasn't a physically abusive relationship I was in. It was a psychologically abusive relationship, and I wasn't innocent either. That's the important part to note here. When I came clean off of drugs, I was in this horrible mindset of just basically feeling like the world was against me. You know, everything was everybody else's fault, and I was the victim. I had like a victim mentality that I think it just took years just to break free of, even after I was sober, which is kind of pathetic when you think about it, but that's the reality of how far gone I got on drugs. I totally morphed into, just like you hear me talk about him transforming right before my eyes, I sat there and basically watched somebody that I loved more than anything at the time. I watched him go from this amazing friend, person that was completely trustworthy in my eyes, had never done anything wrong to me, had never betrayed me, had never lied to me. Through our sobriety, we were like coming together closer and closer during the time we were sober. As soon as we picked up together, as soon as we used together, two addicts using together is just a recipe for disaster. It's just a complete recipe for disaster. And yeah, that's when what you would think would be like a slow progression to, it was actually like falling fast. I don't know, it was like riding a roller coaster down, you know, the steepest drop is what it felt like, just going from this huge high that we were on in recovery and getting to know each other and like falling in love with each other, to using and just straight into the fucking ground. I mean, I watched him deteriorate from somebody I loved to somebody I fucking hated. Like, I hated him. I hated myself, and I hated him just as much. And it's really hard to sit and just watch somebody do that to themselves, and then to lash out at you. Like, I would lash out at him, and he would lash out at me just about every single time we got fucked up, because we hated ourselves and we were starting to hate each other for letting it get to that level. And on top of all that, when you have no job, when you are in and out of jail, in and out of prison, and you basically become to the point where you're unemployable, nobody wants to touch you, so every day you still want to get high, you have to come up with money to get high. And we all know that to come up with money to get high is, it's all bad. It's all bad. You're just out there fucking people over just to get up, just to get a little come up. Rinse and repeat every single night. So yeah, the shit turned bad pretty quick. They say 1 year of IV drug use is the equivalent of, like, I think 8 years of regular drug use. And I 100% agree with that, because I went from the person that I couldn't relate to in rehab, that I used to kind of point my finger to and be like, yeah, well, okay, you're a crackhead, like, I'm not gonna be like you, I'm not fucking stupid, to being that stupid, fucked up person that everybody looked at. I mean, I would shoot up in my car, it wasn't even, the car was fucking stolen. I would shoot up, get out of the car, go wherever I was fucking going, and just have blood like dripping down my arms. I I didn't care. I was to the point where I was just like, if you have a problem with me using, then I'm just not gonna fuck with you, basically. And I wasn't thinking rational at all. All I was thinking about all the time was how much I fucking hate myself, how much I fucking hate this dude I'm with, how much I'm fucked, I'm never gonna get my life back together, how everything was everybody else's fault but mine. It was like the world was crashing down and I was just blaming everybody except myself. And I think I knew on some level it was my fault, but didn't want to acknowledge that. And so the cycle continued to focus on, okay, well, how am I going to get paid today? What am I going to do? With all that being said, I just kind of want to wrap things up for today. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, I just want you to know that this isn't meant to be a super depressing, a super negative channel. It's just, I have to start in the beginning so you sort of understand what my starting point was. And my starting point wasn't pretty, and it isn't for most people. And the reason that, a big reason I want to start this channel, sorry if I'm getting emotional, is that I don't think very many people come out on the other side like I have. There isn't a lot of people that do dope every day, shooting up, fucking strung out. I was strung out, bulimic, cutting myself, tried to kill myself several times, overdosed several times. I don't think that very many people go to that extreme and then come out on the other side. So a huge reason I want to do this channel is just to get my message out there, and I want it to be a message of hope. I don't want it to be a message of depression, because yeah, I used to be really fucked up and there's nothing I can do about that. And I did some really fucked up shit. And there's nothing I can do about that. But I'm here to say it's possible to change. It's possible to start over. It's possible to just fucking start over. Start over from scratch. Start over with nothing. And it's worth it. It's worth it to start over. It's worth it to give it everything you have. It's worth it to fight for your life. It's worth it more than getting high.